On the 1st of October 2025, a quiet morning in Abuja, no green banner flying over Eagle Square, no parade, no soldiers marching to the rhythm of independence drum. For the first time in Nigeria's 65 years of nationhood, the traditional Independence Day parade was cancelled. The announcement came quietly, no fanfare, no televised ceremony. Officials said the president had strategic bilateral engagements abroad. But across the street, in barracks and corridors of power, a question began to hum. What was Abuja afraid of? But days later, whispers broke into headlines. 16 senior military officers detained by the Defense Intelligence Agency for allegedly plotting a coup d'etat. The reports named no faces, but inside sources spoke of officers ranging from the captain to brigadier general, all allegedly planning to overthrow President Bola Tinubu and replace his government with a military council. Some were said to be attached to the office of the National Security Advisor, a revelation that shocked even the most seasoned observers. A coup plan emerging from the heart of national security. That was a very big claim. The defense headquarters confirmed arrest, but not the reason. In a cautious statement, Brigadier General Tuko Gazao, the military spokesperson, said a routine military exercise has resulted in the arrest of 16 officers over issues of indiscipline and breach of service regulations. He added that the grievances stemmed from perceived career stagnation caused by repeated failure in promotion exams. But behind the wall of the Defense Intelligence Agency, sources whispered a different version. And they said that the officers were not just angry, but they were plotting. The 16 officers were planning a coup. A senior source inside the DIA allegedly told the investigators. They started holding secret meetings on how to overthrow the president and other top government officials. And then a strange coincidence. The cancellation of the Independence Day parade. Security insiders now claimed that the October 1st event had been the chosen day. The plan, they said, was simple and terrifying: strike during the parade, when the nation's leadership, military brass, and dignitaries will all gather under one sky. According to this report, intelligence intercepted messages day before the event suggesting a possible ambush from within. The parade was quietly called off. The public explanation was the president's foreign engagement. The alleged reasons was to save lives. But could this be a coincidence or a calculated caution? That is where the story begins to tighten its grip. Nigeria has lived this nightmare before. From the 1966 coup that toppled Tafawa Balewa's government to the rise and fall of military juntas under Gowon, Muritala, Babangida and Abacha. But since 1999, democracy had at least on paper stood firm. That is why the idea of a new coup in 2025 sounded almost unthinkable. And yet discontent had been growing inside the barracks. Repeated promotion failures, unequal posting, an economy shrinking under inflation, corruption cases haunting the defense budget. And outside the barracks, citizens groaning under hunger, kidnapping, and collapsing trust. The stage, some said, was ripe for rebellion. Then came another revelation. A former governor from one of Nigeria's southern states was allegedly under investigation for financing the plot. According to the senior security sources, the former governor, once active in the oil and gas sector, was being probed for recent communications with the detained officers. There are civilian accomplices, including a former governor, but the extent of their involvement is still being investigated. The same report added that a brigadier general was under arrest who was from Niger State, while another colonel from Nasarawa, belonging to an influential royal family. His father, a traditional ruler, and his uncle, a former governor. In Lafia, family members whispered prayers of disbelief. One of them even said that we are worried. One relative told them, our prayer is made that may we not be found guilty of the allegation. And as news spread, more officers were picked for questioning, each linked leading deeper into the shadows between the military and political class. By October 18, Defense Headquarters had had enough. It issued a stern statement titled DHQ never mentioned any coup attempt. The attention of the defense quarters has been drawn to a false and misleading report insinuating that the cancellation of activities marking the Nigerian 65th independence anniversary was linked to an alleged attempted military coup. The armed forces made this known categorically that the claims are entirely false, malicious, and intended to cause unnecessary tension. They insisted that the president's absence on Independence Day was purely strategic, meant to allow Mr. President to attend bilateral meetings abroad and sustain the momentum in the fight against terrorism, insurgency, and banditry. But by now, Nigerians had already tasted suspicions. Once an idea of a coup enters public imagination, it doesn't leave easily. Then came a Yoruba union known as the Igbimo, Majeko Baje, and in a powerful public statement, the group criticized Tinubu's leadership, calling the alleged coup a symptom of national decay. A government that fails to listen to the cry of its people, they said, is sowing the seed of instability and eventual rebellion. They demanded that the army publish the offenses of the arrested officers and conduct a transparent public trial, warning that silence only breeds mistrust. The union didn't support any unconstitutional change of power, but its words were sharp. When a government deliberately impoverishes its citizens, ignoring their suffering and protects corrupt officials, the people's anger becomes a ticking time bomb. They compared Nigeria's situation to Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, three nations that recently fell into military due to years of corruption and failed leadership. If the Tinubu's administration does not restore public trust, they warn, Nigeria may face similar chaos. The story deepened further when intelligence sources said that investigation panel made up of several senior officers headed by a major general had begun a closed-door session to determine the fate of the detainees was tightly guarded. Even names were withheld from the public. Families waited in silence. Rumors leaked across social media, each more dramatic than the last. In the middle of it all, journalists faced the hard question: was this really a coup or a cover-up? Inside the barracks, soldiers talked carefully. Many said they were tired of endless counter-terror wars, tired of unpaid allowances, tired of seeing generals retire into politics while the ranks remain stagnant. Discontent in the military doesn't just start with gunfire. It starts with whisper in the mess hall. And if those whispers meet money, ambition, politics, history can repeat itself. So back to the parade, the one that didn't happen. Nigeria's independence is more than just a ceremony. It is a mirror of the state's confidence. For it to be cancelled completely was unprecedented. The government spokesperson insisted that it was logistics and foreign travels, but security analysts quietly agreed. Something spooked Abuja, and maybe, just maybe, cancelling the parade prevented something worse. In hindsight, silence became security. No shots fired, no crowd panicking, only unanswered questions. Weeks passed, no public trial, no official list of names, no confirmation or denial from the Office of the National Security Advisors, whose officers were reportedly involved. Yet the rumor refused to die. Civil society groups, opposition politicians, and media houses kept asking for transparency. They demanded the release of a white paper revealing the identities and charges of those detained. The defense headquarters maintained